Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of A Gardener's Journey Homestead. I am Barbara. I'm inside today because it is very nasty here. We have had rain in the forecast literally for the last 6 days. It hasn't rained all of those 6 days, but for the past 2 days, it has rained a ton. And so it's soppy wet outside. And so I'm inside today, which is perfectly fine for the content that I want to share today. Today I'm going to be talking about succession planting, what it is, how you do it, but the kicker is I'm going to show you the easiest way to do succession planting. A lot of people don't know what it is, they don't know how to do it, they don't know how to figure it out. We're going to talk about all that, but I'm going to introduce you to a brand new tool that I've been using that is a game changer. Like, it is the way to go. If you want a succession plant, you want to stay tuned to this video because I'm about to up level your game, okay? Up level it all the way. And y'all know I get excited when I have something new to share because I'm all about efficiency in my business, in my personal life, in my home life, and certainly when it comes to my farm. So if you're brand new to me, I am in Zone 7A. We live in Tennessee. We live on about 77 acres of land. We have raised beds behind our house. We have a high tunnel, and we also have an in-ground garden. And I have been gardening. This will be my third summer gardening. So this is, for me, I still feel like I'm brand new, right? I always say that I never put my hands in dirt until I moved to the country. We made a move from the city to the country. It'll be 4 years ago this summer, in July 2019. And I did my first garden in April 2020 when my husband built me raised beds behind my house. So that's where my garden journey started. And so now we fast forward to 3 years later. And again, I've expanded my garden. I've expanded my knowledge, still expanding my knowledge. But one thing has been consistent because it's who I am as a person. And that is whatever I'm going to do it with excellence. And then second of all, I'm going to do it to where I can find the most efficient way to do it. So I love efficiency because if you're anything like me, your life is busy, right? I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have my own business. My husband is in full-time ministry, and so I also work and help him out in the ministry. We travel, all the things. Like, I could go on and on and on. But my story is probably no different than yours. You're a mom, you're a caregiver, you're a husband, you're a wife, you're a spouse, you're a father, you're a mother, whatever it is, however you're tuning in, I'm sure that your life is just as busy as mine. And so in all things, I try to find out what's the most efficient way to do it. I try to be really organized and stay on top of things. So that's why I'm excited about this topic overall. But when it comes to succession planting, I want to encourage you to do it, especially if you can. But I want to give you something that's going to make it a lot easier for you. So I cannot wait to show you my new tool. Okay, so first let's talk about what succession planting is. And it's so funny, for those who know me, my background is in HR. I did HR for 20 years in corporate America, and now I have my own HR consulting agency. So HR is in my blood through and through. And one of the things we did in HR was succession planning, right? And so succession planning is when we would look out and say, okay, who are going to be our next leaders, our next managers, right? So who are the people coming up that are potential to be directors, VPs, senior VPs, right? So when I became a gardener, this is all brand new to me, and I heard the term succession planting, I was like, that sounds real close to what I did at work, but I'm sure it's not the same thing. But I'm thinking it has to be that you're planting something over and over again, right? I just deduced that, right? Because I was familiar with succession planning in the corporate world. Well, succession planting is just that. It's you are planting multiple crops at various intervals, or the same crop at various intervals. So if you think about the word succeed is, okay, if I'm going to succeed you, that means I'm coming next, right? And so I like to break things down in very simple terms because that's how my brain receives it, and that's how my brain is going to retain it, right? So when you think about succession planting, you're thinking about what crop will I plant more than one time in my growing season, right? And so for me, I'm in Zone 7A. I have a really long growing season. I think it's like 110 days, right? So if you think about something like squash that has a 50 to 60 day maturity, meaning from the time that you plant the seed in 60 days you have fruit, right? You have a harvest. So if my cycle or my growing season is 110 days and it only takes me 60 days to get squash, then that means I can do squash a couple of times, right? Because it's only going to take me 50 to 60 days, right? And so if I have 110, I can certainly get in 2 plantings of squash, right? So that's what succession planting is figuring out what crops do I want to continue to sow over and over and get a yield within that appropriate growing season. So that's what it is. Now you may say, well, why would I want to do that? Like, I just want to plant my squash one time and I have my harvest all summer, right? Okay, so let's talk about why that may not be the case. So in my particular growing zone, I have a lot of squash bugs. I have done all the pest management things. And again, I've only been gardening for 3 years, but I've done all the pest management things and the squash bugs continue to come. Here's how my cycle has been. I plant squash, it does really well. I have a great harvest. It yields multiple squash. As a matter of fact, I literally just cooked some squash for dinner and I got it out of my freezer and it's my squash from last year's harvest. And I have like 4 more bags in my freezer. And that's a whole nother video. I'm gonna talk about how do we get ready for the summer harvest. And that means we need to make sure that we've consumed the stuff that we put up last summer, but that's another video. So going back to the squash, so I plant my squash. It does really well for about 30 days. I get lots and lots of squash. Like, it does really well for me. Then the squash bugs come and the squash is over, right? That is how it's been every time I've planted squash. And when I've talked to other growers in my area, they get the same exact results. Well, this year, for the first time, I am going to succession plant my squash. That means I'm going to start squash seeds and transplant some out every 30 days. Because I know from past history that at the 30-day mark is when my squash is looking bad and it's time to kind of come out because the squash bugs have taken over, right? Now, I want to do that because I want squash continually all summer long. If I was just good and it was just me and my husband eating the squash and we only need, 1 or 2 a week and I'm getting 10 a week and I have enough to freeze from that one harvest, then that's fine. But because I know that I'm going to be selling this summer, I want to have a continual harvest all summer long of my squash. So when you think about why you would want to succession plant, one, it is to have a continual harvest. If you want to grow food year round, and that is the goal here on our farm, is to grow food year round. I want to get to the place where every single week I have food that I can harvest out of my garden, right? The only way to do that is to succession plant and be intentional and mindful about what you can plant when and to keep it coming, right? So that's what succession planting is. And that is why you would consider doing it. Okay, so we've talked about those 2 things. Now let's get into the logistics, like the nitty gritty of how you do it, right? Well, let me first tell you what our plans are this summer on our farm and the things that I've already identified that I'm going to succession plant. And some of these I did last year. So this is not going to be my first time doing succession planting. This is my first time doing it with this tool and being way more intentional and on top of it, okay? So the things that I've identified for me that we're going to succession plant are squash, cucumbers, green beans, lettuce, sunflowers, and zinnias. And I think I may be missing a couple. My paper is over there. And I'm just going to keep rolling. So those are the things that we're going to succession plant. So, also tomatoes, because I did a video about my second round of tomatoes. You guys have already seen me planting and getting ready for the next crop of tomatoes, right? And again, depending on what zone you're in and how long your growing season is, you may or may not be able to succession plant as many things as I do. You may be able to succession plant more than I can. You may not be able to do certain crops because your growing season is shorter than mine, right? So like the things that I picked, squash, very short maturity date, Cucumbers, 45 to 50 days, right? So literally I could probably do 2 successions of cucumbers and have cucumbers from literally May all the way to like September or even October, especially in my tunnel, right? Green beans, very short maturity date. Tomatoes have a longer maturity date, but I just started my tomato seeds the first week of May to be put in the ground in June, and that's going to be my second thing of tomatoes. And I'm thinking about doing another one, right? Because I've already done my tomatoes and they're in the ground for the most part. But I know that those will start, especially the ones that are outside, by the end of August, they will start to taper down just because of the heat, the sun. They'll start to taper down, quite a bit, right? And so I won't be getting as much. But if I wanted to, again, extend that, then I can have some more that I can put in the ground, like I said, maybe starting transplanting in July, right? So those are the things that I've identified. Sunflowers, because I'm doing sunflowers for beauty and also to put in my house. A lot of the sunflowers I'm doing are pro cut, which means it's one single stem. It's not the branching kind. So I get that one stem, I use it as a cut flower to put in my house. Well, then I still want more sunflowers. So that's why I'm succession planting sunflowers, right? Zinnias, again, they can, I'm sorry, something's flying around. Zinnias are cut and come again, right? The more you prune them, the more they're gonna deliver. But by the end of the summer, they start looking a little, strange. So if I want more zinnias, I can succession plant. Okay, so those are the reasons and the type of things that you can succession plant. Now, how do you do it? Now, what I have done in the past is I've waited until the crop is, on its last leg, like green beans I did last summer. I did green beans in my in-ground garden. I tried a new variety called Provider. Did not do well. Oh, let me back up. They did produce, but they produced and they died really, really quick. Like they got hard really quickly, right? And it was almost like when I've done okra, it's like if you don't get it when it's right at the ripe of harvest, then you're gonna lose it. And that's how the Provider beans were for me. So we harvested them, but they were all hard and overgrown and we could not use them. And that crop was done, like they never produced again. Versus when I have done the Blue Lake kind, I have a little bit more of a window to harvest them before they get really, really hard, right? And so last year, because I did not have any green beans on my first round trying the Provider, I went ahead and did me some Blue Lake in my tunnel in a raised bed, and I was able to have green beans and have a harvest of that, like in September, right? So now I know, okay, and I didn't have enough green beans to last me, like my green beans in my freezer, they're all gone. So they did not last me a year into the next green bean harvest. So I know that I want more. That's the reason why I'm gonna intentionally succession plant green beans. So how I did it last year was, okay, something was dead. And I'm like, ooh, let me see how many more days I got left to get something in the ground before the frost comes. And I went ahead and I put it in the ground. So I only succession planted green beans last year and tomatoes. But on the tomatoes, I bought a lot of tomato starts. And that's how I was able to get like a second thing of tomatoes. So again, that has been my method. Did it work? Kind of, sort of. But let me introduce you to the game changer, okay? And the thing about it is that it's free. Like I'm about to tell you something that you can get right now today to help you, okay? So it is a brand new, and I say brand new, I think they've been in beta pilot for like maybe the last 9 months to a year, I think. And I've seen all the branding and all the commercials, and I got it, and I looked at it, and I'm like, I don't know. But then I finally had time to sit down and actually pay attention. Y'all, when I paid attention, okay, so it's called Seedtime. The link is down in my bio. Okay, I want you to run and click on the link right now because if you want a succession plant, you need it, okay? It's called Seedtime. It is an app. You can have it on can you have it on your phone? Yeah, I think you can have it on your phone, but you can do it on your desktop. Seedtime, click the link in my bio. It is like a garden planting app that takes all of the guesswork out of it for you. So I have my laptop, so I'm gonna turn the camera around, and I'm going to actually show you from my laptop, because to me, seeing is believing. And I want to walk you through very quickly, just at a high level, of how this works. And it's completely free. Now, they do have options to upgrade and to purchase, which I'm going to do that because, and I'll show you when we get in here. But you can, everything that I'm going to show you right now that I have right now is on the free account. Okay? So you can do a lot with the free. It just depends on if you want to do more. And we'll talk about that. So let me turn the camera around, show you my laptop, and let's walk through it. Okay, guys, I'm going to try to show you this the best way that I can. So I have my Seedtime account pulled up. So, of course, the first thing that it's going to ask you is your zip code. And so that way it can populate exactly what your maturity dates are, days to harvest, and all of that. So once you do that, it's going to ask you to name whatever you want to name your particular garden. So for me, this is for the high tunnel. And so I just named it High Tunnel Garden. You can kind of see that there. Now, the difference between the free account and an upgrade is that with the free account, you can only do one space. But if you upgrade, then you can have more than one location, so to speak. So for me, I would upgrade and do the high tunnel, the in-ground garden, and then my raised beds. But for purposes of demonstration, like I said, if you just have one space and you want to do one space, you can do that. So you can go here and you're going to click on Add Crop, right? And so you can see it says crop category. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. So add a new crop. So we'll add our, okay, I already have my green beans in there. What else do I want to add? Let's add, got my squash in there. I tried to save something that, what else did I say I wanted to, I got my zinnias in there. Let's see. Let's just add, and I think I already got my tomatoes in there too. So let's add peppers. You can see that peppers come up. I'm gonna click that, and then crop variety. You can click down. It has just about, I haven't found a variety yet that I have that's not in there. So let's say you wanna do the habanero, right? So they have habanero. So I wanna do the habanero, right? You can also customize the color. So let's say I wanna do orange because that represents the color of the pepper, right? So if you scroll up here, you can see under advanced settings, it tells you the seeding date. It's going to give you a seeding date relative to frost, meaning it's going to look at what your average last frost date is, and that's how it's doing the calculations. Or if you wanted to do it manual, you can. It's going to ask you here, it's assuming spring and summer season. If you did fall and winter, then, I mean, you could change that to that. I don't look at any of this, but I'm just showing you kind of what's there, and you just click schedule. And so hopefully, I don't know if you were able to see it, but it put it over here on the side. Let me find it. Habanero is right there. You can see it's right there. So you can see that I've already added quite a bit, and you can see the different colors, and you can see that it's giving you different things about when you're going to prepare your bed versus when you are going to direct seed. Let me come back out. When you're going to direct seed, when you're going to transplant, all of that. But you may say, man, that looks like too confusing. So that's under the calendar here, over here on the left-hand side. If you click on task, it's going to take everything and put it in a task list for you. So it's already telling me the things that I have overdue. So I just put in the habanero peppers. So it's telling me that I should have seeded and started my seed peppers on March the 9th, right? Between March 9th and March 15th. Why is it telling me that? It's telling me that because it knows when my average last frost date is, and it knows if I'm starting seeds early, how far in advance I need to be of that, which is about 8 weeks. So I've actually already done this. So I can click here and say, yes, it takes it off my to-do list, right? But you can see my overdue task there. And then for this week that we're in right now, here is my to-do list. So literally you can come in here every single week and just print out your to-do list. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry or wonder. If you put everything in there at the beginning of the season, you don't have to worry about, okay, what am I doing this week, right? So according to my plan, it's saying I should be direct seeding my sunflowers this week, right? Now, I actually have started my sunflower seeds. I'm not direct sowing my sunflowers. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to be able to place them where I want them to be, right? It's also telling me I need to be sowing my sweet potato slips this week. And so that is an aha for me because I don't even have my sweet potato slips yet, right? It's been on my to-do list mentally, but I have not gone out and gotten my sweet potato slips. So again, it's keeping me on track. It says I should be seeding my Amish paste tomatoes. Now, this Amish paste tomato is my second succession. So if you follow me and watch all of my videos, like I hope you do, you know that the video before this one, what was I doing, y'all? I was seeding my tomatoes for the second succession. So I'm right on track. Now, I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail, but let me just show you how the succession works, right? So let me come back here. Let's go back to calendar. Okay, so you see here where it says basil 1, basil 2, basil 3. Those are all different successions, like my green beans. So if I look on green beans 1, right, versus green beans 2, they show up in different places on my thing. So you can see for the week of, let me go back out this way. Here, sorry, you can see here, bed prep for green beans, my blue look. So I should be getting my bed ready to prepare, amend my soil to get ready for my green beans. So if I wanted to add a second succession of green beans, let me show you how that works, or a second succession of anything. So let me go back over here. You're gonna click on the crop. So I already have 2 succession of green beans. So I can click here where the little ellipsis is, and I click add succession. When I do that, it automatically puts in another succession, right? Let's see. Oh, that's probably not a good one because, hold on. I'm sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. Okay. I should have went from the first one. So now I have 1, 2, 3 of succession. Now you may be saying, well, how does it know when to put my succession on there? So when I go back to edit, under advanced settings, remember I said I don't look at that part. I don't look at that part until it's time for succession. But if you keep scrolling up, let me show you here. If you keep scrolling up where it says succession spacing, 3 weeks. So it's already predetermined how often you should sow your green bean seeds if you want to have a succession, right? And again, you can change this. Maybe you want to do yours every 4 weeks. But if you go with just what it says, it's already pre-populated for you. And again, the planting method that's chosen is direct seed. And I do direct seed my green beans. I don't start those up early. I don't transplant those, I direct seed. But let's just say you did, you can switch this to transplant if you wanted to, right? And it's also giving you the row spacing, 14 inches. It's giving you the plant spacing, so put them 4 inches apart. And it's telling you days to maturity is 60. This is, again, the Blue Lake variety, right? So do y'all see how cool this is? This is a game changer. Game changer. What do y'all think? I think that is the coolest thing. Again, if you're into technology, if you're into efficiency, if you're into organization, and you want to be organized in your garden and you know that you want to succession plant, but the reason why you haven't done it is because you can't keep up with it. You don't know how to do it. You don't know when to start stuff. You're starting it too late. You're waiting until something is dead before you start something else. Then this is for you. Go to the link in my bio. It's Seedtime, Seedtime, Seedtime. The founders of Seedtime are actually the owners of Farmer's Friend, right? So remember, I've used Farmer's Friend's quick plant fabric. I've talked a lot about that on this channel in this gardening season. Love the quick plant fabric. They also sell like cat tunnels, caterpillar tunnels, all kind of gardening stuff. But they are the owners of this Seedtime, and I really believe, and I'm not just saying this, because, and again, it is an affiliate link, and I have all that in my bio. Like anything that I'm telling you to go to a link in, like my Azure Standard, it's an affiliate link. Seedtime is affiliate link. I'm not doing it because I'm affiliate. I'm doing it because I believe in it, and this is what I'm using. So if you want to know what I'm doing and how I'm staying on top of my stuff, this is what I'm using. And I don't recommend or put anything out there that I haven't tried, and anything that I'm not going to be honest about. Okay, so you guys know, if you've been rocking with me, you know I'm always trying something new. A new sprayer, a new seed, a new company. Like I'm always looking for who has what, right? I am loyal, but I'm never with blinders on. Like I'm never like, ooh, I found this one product, I'm never gonna look anywhere else. No, that's not me. I don't do life that way, because you can always learn, and somebody always has something that they can offer you, and it may be just the tweak that you need that works for you. And what works for me may not work for you. But if you are intrigued and interested, based on the little bit that I just showed you, go to the link in my bio and download it right now. It's completely free. What do you have to lose, right? And if y'all want more information, let me know. I may be thinking about doing like a webinar with Seedtime, and maybe we'll go live on YouTube and we can like walk through the product if you want more detail. I didn't want to spend this video giving you a tutorial on how to use Seedtime. I just want to show you, again, you're going to add your crop. It has all the different varieties in there. And then if you want to do succession planting, it's just going to print it out for you. And then literally, y'all, you can go to your task list each week. What am I supposed to be doing? Oh, I need to be prepping my bed for lettuce. Oh, I need to be transplanting my lettuce. Oh, I need to, like right now, you're going to go find her some sweet potato slips. I need to go get me some sweet potato slips according to my Seedtime. So I'm going to end this video because I got to go find me some sweet potato slips, okay? And get them so I can stay on track. But succession planting, I do encourage you to do it if you want to grow all year round. Again, the way the prices are in the grocery store right now, I don't even know how we all surviving, okay? We don't grow all of our food. We grow a lot of our produce, right? And it has been a huge blessing, not just in terms of taste, freshness, and I know where it came from, but also on our grocery bill. Like literally, y'all, I was gonna go to the grocery store this morning. I dropped my son off from school. It was pouring down, raining, pouring, which is why I had my hat on, because I'm like, okay, I don't want my hair to get wet. But y'all, it was more than misting. It was pouring. And as I drove by Publix, I was like, I just can't do it. I cannot get out in the middle of the monsoon and walk into Publix and get soaking wet and do grocery shop and walk back out and get soaking wet again. Like, I just can't do it. Not gonna do it. So I was like, let's change dinner plans. And so I came to my house and I went through my freezer, y'all. I just made squash. I just made purple hull peas. I made cabbage. Whatever I made was already in my house. I didn't buy it. The dinner that I just made, I did not buy anything for it. Y'all, that is a blessing. Because I have grown food, I have preserved it, I have saved it. I was able to change on a dime and cook from my own freezer. All because I'm growing my own food. Y'all know I'm passionate about this. Grow your own food, and don't just grow for today. Let's get in the habit and thinking about eating seasonally, growing our own food, growing enough to last for a year. And maybe I'll do a video on that as well. But that's how you have food all year round. if you succession plant, and if you grow enough, and if you're preserving. Okay, so I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I hope that you found a nugget, and if you like what you're seeing on my channel, please share it with somebody else. Don't be selfish, don't be stingy. Share, leave a comment, subscribe. Let me know if this is helpful. Let me know if you're already using Seedtime. If I'm late to the game, let me know, right? I may be late to the game, but somebody hadn't heard about it, I know, out of my followers. So I hope that this was helpful. Remember, y'all, this is all a journey. Let's grow together. Can't wait to see you next time, friend.